Okay, so today we're going to look at simplifying algebraic fractions. Our first example, 10p divided by 5p. So you always look at the numbers first. So what's the biggest number I can divide 10 and 5 by? The biggest number I can divide both by is 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2p over 5 divided by 5, which is 1p or just p. Then we look at our letters, so we've got p in the top line, p in the bottom line, so I can cancel those out. My final answer is going to be 2. For your next example, you've got 6bc over 12c. So again, just look at your numbers first. What's the biggest number I can divide 6 and 12 by? Biggest number is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1bc. You can include the 1 if you like. Over 12 divided by 6, which is 2c. And then if we look at our letters, we've got c in the top line, c in the bottom line, so we could cancel that out. Final answer, b over 2. Next one, question 3. 4ab squared over 10ab. Again, look at your letters, look at your numbers. Biggest number I can divide 4 and 10 by will be 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2ab squared over 10 divided by 2, which is 5ab. Then we look at our letters, so if we look at a first, we've got a at the top, a at the bottom, so we could cancel that out. B squared at the top line, b at the bottom, so we could cancel out 1b. So if we take 1 off the bottom, we need to take 1 off the top, so that 2 becomes 1. So on your top line, you've got 2b, and in the bottom line we have got 5. Next example, question 4. 24ed squared over 36d cubed. 24 and 36, the biggest number that I can divide top and bottom by is 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2ed squared over 36 divided by 12 is 3d cubed. So it's just important that you keep your working out nice and clear so that you don't miss anything. So then if we go to our letters, e at the top, no e's at the bottom, so we can't do anything there. D squared at the top, d cubed at the bottom, so we could get rid of 2 d's, or d squared, so cancel out 2 at the top, cancel out 2 at the bottom, so 3, take 2, that becomes a 1. So in the top line then, you've got 2e over 3d. Next one, 8t squared over 12t cubed. 8 and 12, biggest number I could divide those by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2t squared over 12 divided by 4, 3t cubed. Then we look at our letters, so we've got t squared and t cubed. I could take 2 off the top and I could take 2 off the bottom, so 3 then becomes 1. Top line you've got 2 over 3t. Question 6, so this time in brackets you've got 4a all squared over 16a. So I would expand the brackets first, so 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16a squared over 16a. Then you look at your numbers, so we cancel out 16 and 16. Then we look at our letters, a squared at the top, a at the bottom, so you could take 1a off, take that a off, take 1 off the top, so 2 then becomes 1. So in the top line you've got a, and that's your final answer. Question 7, start to get a little bit trickier. 30f squared e over 5ef squared. So start off by looking at your letters. 30 and 5, biggest number I can divide top and bottom by is 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6f squared e over 5 divided by 5 is 1ef squared. Then we go ahead and look at our letters. So f squared at the top, f squared at the bottom, cancel those out. E at the top, e at the bottom, cancel that out, and we're just left with 6. Next one, question 8. 20 e cubed d over 15 d squared EC. Numbers first. 20 and 15 can both be divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4 e cubed d. 15 divided by 5 is 3 d squared EC. So looking at our letters, we've got e cubed in the top line and we've got e in the bottom, so we can cancel out 1e. So stroke off the e at the bottom, take 1 off the top, so 3 becomes 2. D at the top, d squared at the bottom, so we could cancel out 1d, stroke off d at the top, take 1 off the 2, that becomes 1. And c, we've got c in the bottom, got no c's in the top, so there's nothing we can do there. So we've got 4 e squared, 4e squared over 3 dc. So it's just really important to try and keep your work as clear as possible so that you can see all of your working out and not make any mistakes. Question 9. 4 or cubed s over 10s squared or 2. So numbers first, 4 and 10. Biggest number I can divide 4 and 10 by is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, or cubed s over 10 divided by 2, which is 5s squared, or 2. So then if we look at our letters, or cubed at the top or at the bottom, so we could stroke off 1 at the bottom, take 1 off the top, so 3 then becomes 2. S at the top, s squared at the bottom, so we could cancel out 1, stroke off 1s at the top, take 1 off your power, so 2 becomes 1. Top line, we've got 2r squared. Bottom line, we've got 5st. And one last question. 10. 6a squared cb squared over 9a squared bc. Numbers first, 6 and 9. Biggest number I can divide 6 and 9 by is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2a squared cb squared over 9 divided by 3, which is 3a squared bc. So then we look at our letters. We've got a squared at the top, a squared at the bottom, so they could just cancel out. C at the top, c at the bottom, that can cancel out. B squared at the top, b at the bottom, so we could cancel out 1b. Take 1 off the bottom, take 1 off the top, 2 becomes 1. So your final answer is 2b over 3.